Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of The Collectors. Today, we're here to show you some awesome stuff with this guy, Jason.
All right, here we go.
Appreciate you having us in the house,
Hey,
man.
no problem. Thanks for coming by.
No problem, dude. Listen, we've already walked through here, and I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a longer episode, but it's well worth it because we're going to hit, dude, it's...
Got quite a few things,
We'll
different
do
genres.
We're going to take the show versus tell approach, so bear with us. It changes constantly because the themes here are all awesome, but they're all very different. So I guess the easiest place to start is this is a pretty brilliant way to decorate your living room. You want to talk about
Well, yeah, I grew up skateboarding, started at a very young age, still skateboard to this day, and these are my favorite boards from my youth. They aren't original, they are reissues, but they look the exact same, and
still pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, they're great. And some of these I actually had when I was a kid. Some of them, they were the ones I wish I had, but it's a great way to walk home and get to see all these great skateboards from my youth. These are my Bowen statues. They're pretty rad, pretty high quality. I love them. But my favorite characters have always been Wolverine, Spider-Man, Daredevil, and Punisher. So that's my main ones. And then I just have some other ones that I thought were rad. Got Iron Fist down there with Kingpin. I really like Iron Fist a lot. Got the Grey Hulk when he was a bouncer. Nice. That was a great storyline back in the day. Love it. Yeah, and don't really have any more room for any more of them, so this is pretty much where it caps off at.
Talk about some of the artwork that you got on the walls because it definitely kind of grabs the attention here.
Well, I like to collect art. Lucky I have a lot of friends who are great artists. They're tattoo artists, but they also paint and do all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, just kind of get things when I meet people. Sometimes at conventions I'll pick some stuff up. I got a lot of art from my boy Michael. He was actually the last episode.
Yeah.
And he is
skills, man.
He's a fantastic artist who specializes in sci-fi and Star Wars, and man, I just love his stuff. And he's hooked me up with quite a bit, whether it be trading stuff or whatever, just getting stuff of his that he doesn't use anymore.
A lot of this is his stuff on here, or
this isn't actually. I got most of this from him, or some of it, but his stuff I keep in the other room. I have a wall of just his Star Wars stuff because it's the raddest shit.
Cool.
So yeah, well, like I was saying, my boy Michael, his Star Wars art, absolutely incredible. I love it. There's a piece I got from him that's an original. I actually traveled around to a couple art shows and ended up in my house. And this is another original, Born to Kill. Pretty amazing. Love it. Got this one from Michael. Love how the edges are all burned, and it's just a classic tattoo feel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The Star Wars. Love it. I got a set of his prints over here.
Yeah, we gotta get everybody. Again, this is Jason's episode, but you got to go back to that Michael one, and his Instagram's posted at the end of that. And I mean, this is the kind of stuff I'm sure he's open to commissions to do or selling these prints and stuff. But these are freaking awesome. Star Wars obviously is a big piece of your piece of your collection.
Yeah.
What's the word on all these sweet ass statues and helmets and stuff, dude?
Well, the helmets are actually I'm a member of the 501st. The local group is called Bast Alpha Garrison.
Nice.
They do great things, charity, amazing things for children.
Oh yeah, dude, I love the 501st. You guys see some cool
the
stuff.
The costumes are all 100% authentic.
Yeah.
You got to have it screen accurate, and that makes it pretty cool. It's hard, but at the same time, it's very rewarding.
How long ago did you get involved with those guys?
It's been a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe longer. God, but it's a good time. I've had a lot of costumes. I've gotten rid of some. The ones my main costumes now are, I have a full Tusken Raider. I like to wear. My main costume is the Biker Scout.
Yeah.
It's a fun, easy costume. It's great for short guys like me because I don't have a bunch of armor pinching me.
Right.
I also have a TIE Pilot. It's a version. It's the 181st version. It's from the comic books, so it's not the one that you're used to seeing from the movie.
Yeah.
It's got little things different, but
I love that art, the inlay of the
well,
top of the helmet,
it's skulls, and my call sign is Ghost Skull.
Nice.
Yeah, my brother-in-law actually painted that for me. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
It has a lot to do with collecting because
Yeah.
we love to collect the action figures, the toys, everything, and basically this is just turning yourself into a giant action figure.
For sure, yeah.
And it's all part of it, and it's a great time.
It seems like it's definitely the kind of end game, or not necessarily the end game, but like the target destination for like true Star Wars collectors.
It is.
Because I mean, just when you're not doing it, like with Michael's thing, even still, with the biker scout costume and all that. I mean, it makes such a freaking awesome display.
I used to have a Darth Vader costume. Obviously, I'm too small to wear it, but I had it on a mannequin, and it was badass.
Yeah, dude.
It's pretty amazing when you walk in your house and Darth Vader's standing there.
Right. I mean,
So,
you throw it on a man, like, and this is your Tusken Raider blaster up here, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's a rifle, and we make all the costumes ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love, and it's totally worth it. So
did you Did you do this Stormtrooper?
Yeah, actually, my friend gave me that helmet because it was a little discolored, and I said to myself, well, I'll just make it a Death Trooper, and you won't even notice that it's discolored. Came out great. It took me a couple hours to do it. Burned it up, cut it up, did a little paint.
Yeah, like I love like the comms thing here. It's like falling out of him. And
I just found some stuff in my garage and made it look like really as gnarly as I could make it.
Nice.
So
now your vest here. This is your repping the colors for the Vest Alpha.
Basically in the 501st they do a lot of patch trading, coin trading. It's a whole collector's thing inside that organization that people go nuts over.
Right.
So I just collected a bunch of patches and put them on a vest. I collect some of the coins too.
That's pretty sweet. How many guys are in this local group in New Orleans?
God, it would have to be, I would say, close to 60 or 70, maybe more. I mean, there's a lot. And big shout out to Gary and all of Bast Alpha. They're great guys, and I love them all.
I've met a lot of those guys. They are super, super cool, man. I've dealt with the 501st here. In the Comic Cons you go to, there's usually a presence there, and the guys in Florida. But these dudes here, man, are pretty good. So everybody else in the 501st and the other cities around the country, you got to raise your game up to these Louisiana boys.
We try.
And girls.
We try.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, dude. Yeah, I want to know about these. Get back to the 501st, dude. These blasters and stuff.
Yeah, well, I love props from movies.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that machine special pieces, so you can basically buy an airsoft gun, which is a BB gun, and turn it into a Han Solo blaster. It's great. You definitely got to know how to do a little machining. Like I had to make some metal parts myself.
Right.
But
so you built this basically with
you build it with an airsoft. You get all these little pieces. Once you're in the 501st, you're able to buy pieces that you wouldn't be able to buy anywhere else.
Right.
I mean, it's a close knit community that like to sell inside the ranks. So basically, once you're in, and you can get all these cool little things. And a lot of people don't know Han Solo had 3 different blasters from 3 different movies.
I did not know that.
That one right there is from Empire Strikes Back.
You didn't make this one.
No, that's a master replica.
Wow. I just saw a thing recently where one of the original ones went up for auction. Dude, it sold for like something stupid.
That's right.
I want to say $40,000, but I think that's too little.
But yeah, that's the Empire Strikes Back. This one is the Return of the Jedi. The difference is the mounting bracket, the scope's different.
Oh yeah.
This is a little bit different, and your little greeblies, that's what we call accent pieces on Star Wars stuff. Those are different. And then this one over here is the one everyone knows and loves. That's from A New Hope, and this is one I built out of an airsoft.
Nice.
And obviously it has the bigger scope.
Now this one would be like on a 1 to 10 scale of accuracy from A New Hope. What would this one be at?
This is completely accurate.
So a 10 out of 10 on what you carry?
There's actually 2 blasters in A New Hope. There's the Greedo killer when he shoots Greedo, which they then lost that blaster.
First or reactionary,
No, just but yeah, Han definitely shot first with the Greedo killer. Then they lost the blaster, and this is the one that came afterwards.
Oh, okay.
The Greedo killer is a little different. The flash suppressor is a little more forward, and I believe it's silver.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the one everyone really knows.
Nice.
Another cool piece I have up here as far as replicas.
Yeah, I love this belt.
This is original to the Star Wars movie. That is the headset that they used in the Millennium Falcon, and it is also the headset they used in Aliens, or the first Alien movie. Yeah, if you go back and check out the first Alien movie, you will see them wearing this. These are the gloves that Han wore. They are actually 1970s San Francisco bus driver gloves. I tracked them down. It took me a while, but they're a little dirtier in the actual movie, but go check out A New Hope and you'll see these gloves.
1970s San Francisco. Dude, that's some devotion, man.
Yeah.
What's the bandolier pouch?
Oh, these are actually the original World War II bandoliers that they used for the Tusken Raiders.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's part of your Tusken costume.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when you go in and see what they actually use for all the costumes, it's amazing.
So where did you find all that stuff at? Where did you find
God,
1970s?
God, I just searching the internet for a really long time. I
Yeah.
think I found those in Germany, which is
Oh, wow.
weird. How they
Yeah.
end up in Germany when they were from San Francisco.
Right.
A lot of this stuff you can find in England.
Okay.
You got to pay a lot to ship it, but
Right.
you know you can find that stuff. It's not the cheapest because the World War II collectors also want that stuff.
Right. All right. Now speaking of Alien,
All right, so as we saw in the intro, besides the 501st cosplay, I mean, Jason's also into some pretty sweet alien stuff.
Yeah, I like the alien, the xenomorph stuff a lot. I have a full Xeno costume.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously. Which is a good time. The 501st stuff, it's definitely cool. The xenomorph, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Would you kind of just give a quick, point out a couple of your favorite pieces up here and stuff?
Well, honestly, I got a lot of these figures because when I was making my costume, I needed reference as far as airbrushing my costume and where the different panels went. And it just kind of took off from there. You know, my costume is from Aliens.
Right.
I don't have the big chap costume.
Right, yeah, that's one thing. I think Michael's a big chap guy.
Yeah, and you know, the main difference is the big chap has the clear dome where you can see the whole skull. It is pretty badass.
Yeah.
But I have just a regular Aliens Xeno, and yeah.
This is obviously the head.
There's the head to this, and big shout out to my boy Jeff. He's amazing. He actually has the molds to these, and he does the Predator. I'm sure some of y'all have seen him around. I mean, he's an amazing Predator. Super tall. It's so accurate.
Yeah, hang on. I want to get some close-up stuff of this
Okay.
that you're wearing here.
yeah, like these pieces that he built me. I mean, this is freaking
Yeah, it's a lot of time. I think I got about 80 hours in this costume.
in building.
In building it, yeah. Painting, all that. And like I said, I had a ton of help from my friend Jeff. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's really great at this stuff. And
And then this is the head, right?
yeah.
For that piece.
And I tried to keep it as original, authentic as possible. Those are condoms you see for the tendons. And that is exactly what they used in the movie.
Wow.
You know, did a lot of research, try to keep it as real as possible. So people,
unlike Mr. Bogle, you would be in Aliens.
Aliens, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love wearing it. I
Yeah.
gotta say, it's my favorite costume out of everything. People get a kick out of it. You know, I don't have a lot of visibility, but just listening to people's reaction.
Oh yeah, I think you
It's
saw that
enough.
on the intro when we kind of introduced you. I cut in some of that footage from that Wizard World Comic Con. Man, it was freaking cool.
Yeah, it's a great time. This is one of my big pieces. This is a commission from Angel Medina, Spider-Man artist, fantastic. It is amazing. It's a one of a kind. It's the details insane.
Yeah, that's freaking great, dude.
He's a great artist, and I'm really lucky to have this piece in my collection.
Yeah, that's some of his stuff there, man. Yeah, he's definitely one of the top Spider-Man guys. Is he, like, as far as Spider-Man artists go? I mean, he's obviously kind of pops on there.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites just because he is so good at the details. He's known for his landscapes, his buildings. You know, this is a crazy piece because you don't actually see Spider-Man's face, but that's the best part. He's kind of going in and got all these villains.
He's got like the whole
About to
Sinister
attack
Six
him.
coming at his ass.
It's
It's a bad day.
He's got his work cut out for him.
There's an obvious elephant in the room.
Oh yeah, like I said earlier, Wolverine has always been one of my favorites. I've actually owned a few 181s. I finally got a kind of high grade, not really, 7.5, affordable. I normally don't slab books.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in the CGC thing.
Right.
I like to be able to open my books up, flip through them. I don't care what they're worth, how old they are. If it's in the plastic slab, it kind of takes away from it for me.
Yeah.
But this is a good way to display the book and not have to worry about lights or anything damaging it.
Especially that book.
It's the only CGC book I have.
Yeah.
I had a Walking Dead #1. I got rid of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep this one around for a while. I also am a comic book collector. I love comic books.
Yeah.
Always have. Started when I was about 11 years old, picking them up at the local CVS or whatever. And man, I haven't stopped. It is a revolving door, this collection, because comic books take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
What I have now is basically the comics that will just stay with me forever.
This is a great collection. I was really excited to have you show these off to some of these guys to see, man. You get some really good stuff.
Yeah, one of my favorites, Amazing Spider-Man. That was my favorite. Funny thing is, I don't like it now.
Yeah.
I think it's garbage.
Right.
But growing up, reading that in the 80s, man.
He is like the great villains, dude. You know what I mean?
He really did. And I got hooked with the black costume.
Yeah.
When he got the black
Secret
costume,
Wars,
I just lost my mind.
Yeah.
I can't believe this costume is so badass.
Right.
But yeah, I have a really big run of Amazing Spider-Man. I'll show you some books, some key books that I pulled out in a minute.
Sure.
And I also have these boxes all here are Amazing Spider-Man. You know, I think let's see. I should have. Here's a hot one right here. Hold on. Annual #1, which is the first Sinister Six. That's a pretty badass book.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I believe it's from '64. Yeah, it says right there, 1964.
Good guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I love some Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I also love Wolverine. Like I said, I have a full run of Series 1 Wolverine. That's all these 2 boxes. And yeah, it is the complete run. #1 to whatever the end is. It was #1. I got the mini series too, you know. Love Wolverine. X-Men. Huge Uncanny X-Men fan. When I was a kid, the funny thing is I only had like 4 of the books. I think I had one with the Brood on the cover.
Yeah.
And I just loved them and didn't have a lot. But as I got older, I started collecting them. And I have all the ones I want now. Basically from Giant Size X-Men #1. I'll show you that book in a minute. To issue 300.
Wow.
And that's the team that I remember, that I love. You know, I've got some older books, like this one here was the first Sentinel, X-Men #14. I mean, that's cool. Look at the Sentinel. He looks just like a regular dude, just a little bit bigger.
Now they're like these,
Yeah, I've got some older ones, but it's kind of not really my thing. I like from Giant Size on with the second team. Oh, look at Juggernaut right there.
Dude. Yeah.
Ah, that's great. So yeah, X-Men, that's my jam. You know, this is where you get into the good stuff. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Do you know like what year this new team, this Uncanny, started? It was fairly.
We'll find out in a minute when I pull out Giant Size #1.
That was the start of the whole thing.
That was the start.
All right.
Yeah, so the new team started in '75. This is the Giant Size X-Men. This is what changed everything. This is the X-Men people know and love. You know, Wolverine. You got Colossus, Storm, Thunderbird that lasted 2 issues and died. But whatever. Yeah, this is one of my favorite books. My boy Ronnie, who owns Media Underground, hooked me up with this. Man, he's got a lot of great books. He can find stuff that you need. Man, he's been there for me for years. I've gotten all of my great books through him.
You pulled a couple of other show off and rub it in our face.
Yeah, these are
got.
actually Ronnie had Neil Adams at the shop, which I didn't even know. I walked in one day to buy some books and Neil Adams was sitting down, so I was like, I'll be right back. I came home and I got these. These are the 2 most iconic Neil Adams books I had, and he signed them for me, as you can see right there and right there.
Wow.
Wolverine, Spider-Man, Punisher, Daredevil.
Yeah.
Man,
In that
the last no, not really. The last few years it's been all about Daredevil. It took me a while to really get into him.
Yeah.
But then when I started really reading, and I care more about him as a lawyer than I do as a superhero. It's amazing. It's
what run got you hooked?
Brubaker.
Was Brubaker's
Absolutely.
Run? A lot of people get the Frank Miller,
Well, yeah, I have all those, and I read those back in the day, but I'm telling you, man, that Brubaker run was nuts.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Ronnie again hooked me up with this beauty, Daredevil #1.
That's in nice shape too.
It's the only #1 key issue I have. Like I said, I had the Walking Dead #1, but I got rid of it.
Like some people want to hold like a Mona Lisa. This is what I always want these books, man.
And this is why I don't like CGCing them. You lose that feeling when you hold a slabbed book.
Dude, yeah, these are.
This is a feeling you get where I can open this up, I can flip through the pages just like a little kid did in 1964. Somebody had this in 1964, was reading, who is this guy Daredevil? And that's what I get out of it. A couple other Spider-Man books I have. I got the first appearance of Lizard. It's a pretty cool book. It's funny to see how they drew him. Scorpion, I'm sorry. It's funny to see how they drew him back then. It's pretty crazy. And then
I love this cover.
Rhino.
Yeah, it's a great cover of a comic.
Now, this is actually my favorite Spider-Man book I have. This is the Romita Sr. first cover. And it's a pretty famous cover. Yeah. And it's in great quality.
39.
This is another good one. High quality book I got from Ronnie. And the reason I like this so much is it's the first cover of Mary Jane. I have the first appearance. I have the first mention. I have all those books. But the first cover is what really does it for me.
Yeah. That's a great book.
This is also the first Gwen Stacy cover. A lot of people don't realize that. It's kind of crazy. And then this one, of course. Ooh, yeah. My two favorites. Spider-Man and Punisher together. First Punisher. Can't go wrong.
So you like the modern stuff now when the Punisher's in that costume, or do you like him more like just a regular murderous badass dude?
Man, I like him as the murderous badass dude.
Yeah, the costumes, it's great, in this context. When you look at this book from the 70s,
yeah,
70s,
yeah,
and it looks cool and it works really well back then. But when they try to squeeze him into that costume today, it just doesn't seem like it works.
Well, it's so funny. A lot of those costumes. I mean, could you picture a guy in skin tight?
With
black, with white boots and white gloves. What is the white? It works here. It totally works, but in real life, it doesn't work.
When you look at comics, though, when you're saying that's from the 70s, you're like, oh, that's what the Punisher should look like in these comics. Like if you had him the way he's portrayed a lot of the times now, he just wouldn't work. But in that suit is great. I was reading some of the stuff recently, and he's wearing that costume, and I'm like, yeah. It takes away a bit from that.
I'm all about the classics. I love all the classic costumes. It's all about nostalgia to me. I love it, reminiscent about my childhood.
Oh yeah, I think that's what the whole thing's about, right?
Isn't that what all of this is about? That's all collecting is
that's
true, trying to hang on to the inner child. All right, let's talk about my original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle run. This was the greatest when I was a kid. I absolutely lost my mind. It was just so cool. It was before the cartoon. It was before everything. And the black and white, it's just something about it I loved so much.
You have a complete run?
I have a complete run, except my #1 is a third printing. Everyone knows first printing is thousands.
They didn't print very many.
They did not. And the crazy thing about these, if you see they're bigger, they don't actually fit in my box. I keep them in a different area.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They made a mistake. They sent them to get printed out, I believe, the first 4 and then the first Raphael. And the printers made a mistake and made them magazine size.
Wow.
So they're not a regular comic book size. It's pretty awesome.
So you go right into the original run on #2. Though.
#2's, first printing on. I have the entire run up to the last issue.
And that's how you do it, dude. I mean, just you can tell the cover letters are hand drawn.
They were so groundbreaking. Obviously, everyone knows they made so many millions upon millions with movies, and they still have a comic book to this day. But nothing beats the original run.
Yeah, they were a bit more violent, weren't they, in the beginning?
Absolutely, yeah. And it wasn't about marketing as now. It's just marketing towards the children. Back then, it was just them and Usagi Yojimbo, who's another one of my favorites.
Right.
It's just them,
Sakai.
People just trying to do. Yeah, it's the Fugitoid. That's also the magazine size. But yeah, people just trying to do their own thing, and it was a wonderful time for comic books.
$1.50. What year are these? You remember?
Oh, these came out in the early 80s.
80s, yeah.
You know, and to this day, you could go back and read them right now, and they still.
And number 4 is when they got their comic.
I think number 4 is when they stopped screwing. No, wait. No, number 4. This is actually the second printing of number 4. That's why it's the regular size. Okay. Number 5 is when they finally got the comic book size. Nice. So number 5 on is the actual correct size.
These are great, dude.
I mean, you know how underground it is when they had the wrong size.
Right.
And they're like, well, whatever, we already paid for it. They're coming out as magazine size. I love Transformers. You know, I always have since I was a little kid. I had a G1 collection, pretty much a complete collection. That stuff takes up a lot of space, though. I mean, that's the biggest problem with collecting is sometimes you have to sacrifice because you just don't have the room.
True.
So I sold my G1 collection, but I needed to have Transformers in my life.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
So I went to the Masterpiece line, which is fantastic. You know, most of them are from Japan. They do make some American releases you can get at Toys R Us. All mine are the Japanese ones. And they're fantastic. They're so accurate. They're what we wanted to have when we were kids. Obviously, the scale with Transformers was so bad. You'd have one that just didn't go with another, and you're like, why is Bumblebee the size of Optimus Prime's foot? You know, this way you get everything in scale, and it's almost like a dream come true. I love these things.
Yeah, these are great.
And I try to collect all of them. I also have some third party, which for y'all that don't know, it's companies that basically illegally make the toys, name them something different, but they're great because we get what we want. This right here is actually a third party right there, Dinobot. I mean, come on, that thing is legit.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, dude.
You know.
What is he packaged as?
I don't even remember the name. It's definitely not Slag or what it is. It's something else. They have crazy names for them.
Right.
I think I might have. Do I have any other third parties? Yeah, right here. Everyone knows Shockwave. Well, they weren't going to make one, so a third party company did. Yeah. I think they named him Quake Wave. So he's super rad.
So these all on the shelves here are all the Japanese kind of third wave ones?
Yeah, the ones down here are. Obviously, I got a little mixture on this bottom shelf. My only G1s I kept were Optimus. And look out, Voltron, get your sword out of the way. I kept Optimus and Megatron. But just for comparison, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We all love the G1, but you can't beat the Masterpiece.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You had told some people we were going to have some G.I. Joes in this episode.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, at one time, this room was entirely G.I. Joes. I had every 3 3/4-inch G.I. Joe vehicle, figure, everything. Took me about 3 years to do it.
There's proof.
This whole room was painted army green and had them displayed everywhere. The problem was I was limited where I couldn't have other collections.
Right.
I couldn't put something else in here when the whole thing was G.I. Joe themed. So
do you know, real quick, let me interrupt, do you know how many figures there were on that original line in the 80s?
Oh,
I know, like, I'm obviously the big Return of the Jedi guy, and I know there's 79.
No, there's a few hundred, because there's a lot of people don't even remember when they started getting into the 90s with the Eco Warriors and all the crazy colored, neon green, and, they weren't the greatest figures. I had them anyway just because I was the completest when it came to G.I. Joes.
Right.
So basically, unfortunately, I don't have the stuff displayed for y'all to see. I kept the figures from Wave 1 up until when G.I. Joe the movie came out. I have some vehicles up in the attic, but maybe next time if y'all come back for part 2, I'll have some G.I. Joes displayed for y'all to see.
How many figures did you retain in this?
Well, I kept the first 4 waves. I don't really know exactly how many there are, but they're all right here in this box.
Is there a single character?
My favorite character? I mean, everyone loves Snake Eyes, right?
Snake Eyes is cool, man. I like Gung Ho. He was always kind of...
Man, I never liked him. He always seems like a village person to me.
He did, but he had the cool, Marine tattoo.
Yeah, he's
on
right
his
here.
arm.
Here he is. No,
yeah,
it's on his chest.
On his chest, that's
hey,
right.
everybody. Gung Ho.
He does look like a village person.
Actually, this was one of my favorites, Wakando. I thought he was cool. He's like an Australian dude.
Oh yeah.
I like his camo pants. Yeah, they're all great, man. You can't go wrong with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, as far as Cobra guys, I think Destro was always a pretty,
I kind of feel bad. I had a G.I. Joe tattoo, and I got it covered up with the Han Solo tattoo. So, I mean, you know you're a nerd when you go from, I had the snake eyes under this. And then Michael actually hooked me up with this. He put defrosting Han. You know you're a nerd when you cover up a G.I. Joe tattoo with a Star Wars tattoo. And on to the next collection. You know, it's really popular now. Everybody's collecting records. And I think it's rad. Music has always been such a big part of my life since I was a little kid playing in bands. Punk music has always been my go-to genre. But I love all kinds of music, and records are it just makes sense. You get the collector vibe and you get to listen to it, and it's a wonderful thing. It's not that I have tons, but I have what I like.
Right.
You know, everything I have is something that I love to listen to. A couple of my top records are, I grew up product of the Beastie Boys. So many of us did.
Right.
This is the original Pollywog Stew punk rock album they did. This was before Ad Rock joined the band. And it's all punk. And I think they released it later as some old bullshit.
Right.
But this is the actual original first pressing. It's MCA.
Jeez.
Rest in peace, of course. Looking real young. Mike D. Wow. And then they had a couple other people in the band. But that's.
So this is pre License to Ill.
Oh, absolutely.
That,
This is before they knew what rap music was.
Right.
So
Awesome.
it's one of my faves. Another one. I love Bruce Springsteen, which.
Oh, he's great, man. Yeah.
Oh, I love him so much. And my girlfriend, actually, shout out to Agnes, got me this for Christmas, which is a rare Bruce Springsteen album. In the 90s, they just didn't press that much. So
Born in the USA or none.
Yeah, I mean, you could get
still on that.
You could get all that stuff all day long, but the 90s, man, there's still a couple Bruce records I need. They're expensive and they are hard to find.
Put out some good stuff though.
I will get them. Another really cool thing in my collection. One of my friends, Kevin, is a local guy who does horror soundtracks, and him and I believe Jay Younger masters all of these old soundtracks, and they put them on vinyl. Y'all would know Jay from White Zombie. He played guitar.
Super cool guy.
But these guys, man, it's really cool, and I'm proud of them because it's a local New Orleans thing, and they're doing really well.
It's brilliant.
And
Shout out to Waxwork, man, because we follow them on Twitter, and these guys do some freaking great stuff. And I'm glad to be able to show this to everyone now.
Yeah, this is their first one they did, the Reanimator. It glows in the dark, and they are all about collectors. They do a ton of limited presses of different colors. They have one record that has blood inside of it, where you can move the record.
Yeah.
I mean, you should try to hook up with them because they're legit.
Hopefully we will get to do the episode there.
And
I love what these guys
here's
are
I think
doing.
their second release.
Is that blood?
Probably. Yeah, that was from me and Michael trying on a costume one day. Like, there's pictures of me, like, we were trying it, and I cut myself. Yeah, it's a long, funny story. Another one of my hobbies is building Gundams. Michael got me into this. I used to do them way back in the day, and recently I started doing them again, and what a good time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, but you can get crazy with them, and this is the area I like to work on them. I got my lights and my magnifying glass and my airbrush and my paints and all that stuff. This is what I'm working on right now. I've got to finish building them, then I plan on doing some battle damage on them and make them look real authentic. But it's just another thing I like to do to pass time. Good little hobby to do.
Awesome.
And I'm nowhere near as good as Michael is with his crazy stuff, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep up with him.
All right, so we're here in the music room, and before we get into this, the intro music you guys have heard at the beginning of this episode and the beginning of every episode belongs to this man. He's kind enough with his band 11 Blade to let us borrow that recording. Let's go! hopefully at some point soon you get some stuff out there where people can go and try to find that and buy it. I've never put on the show where the link to go purchase it because I don't think it's for sale.
No, not anymore. We made the album a while ago, and I mean, if you run into me, I have CDs you can buy, but other than that, it used to be on iTunes, but it's not anymore.
Thanks for the music. Appreciate it. We love that song. I think it fits this show perfectly. So this room here is pretty sweet. This is kind of the tail end of the cool collection room, but there's some really freaking awesome stuff in here. So
yeah, music is a big part of my life. I've been playing since I was a kid, and it's just a great time to have with your friends. And it falls into the collecting thing too, because I like to collect guitars and different instruments. So yeah, it's all part of the same thing.
Cool.
And if you'd like to see, I could show you some of my guitars I got.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's take a look at them.
This is my main Les Paul that I recorded all 11 Blade albums with. I didn't do anything to it. It's just a standard, regular Les Paul. And
what year do you know? Is that
it's like 2002. It's nothing special. It's just sometimes you get a gem from the factory, and that's one of them. I haven't done anything, changed anything on it. It's just a great guitar.
What is it that gets you to make a selection of a Les Paul versus like a Stratocaster or like a SG or whatever?
Well, they're just completely different sounds.
Yeah.
I played Les Pauls for a while. Actually, right now I play Fenders just because they're lighter and easier. I don't feel like carrying a super heavy log on my shoulder when I'm playing the show. But nothing beats the sound of the Les Paul.
Yeah.
I have this one, which is my main one, and I have a couple over there. The difference in those is they have P90 pickups, which are single coil pickups. You get a little cleaner sound, great vintage rock sound. That one right there is 1983.
Nice.
It's actually a deluxe. I changed the pickups in it. The one on the right is a reissue. I changed the pickups in that one also. But that's a great guitar. If you go up, you're right there. That guitar is actually the first guitar I ever had. It's just a Mexican Stratocaster.
Nice.
I changed some things to it, but it's a great little guitar. I've had it for many, many years.
And this is your guys' bass.
Yeah, that's actually my bass. That's
your bass.
That's not the bass player's. That's mine. That's in 1977, the year I was born.
Nice.
P-bass, Mary Kay blonde. It looks white, kind of cigarette stained, but it's not. It actually came out like that.
Nice.
It's a great bass. Pretty heavy, but sounds amazing.
Shout out to Jon Snow in the background.
Yeah, I got shit everywhere. Over here we got my 52 reissue Telecaster.
Right?
Yeah, it's a great guitar. It really sounds amazing. I did change the pickup because it had the single coil, and I put the hot stack in it, which makes it a humbucker. Oh,
What's up?
11 blade. And this is the guitar I play with now. It's just I think it came out last year, just a regular Telecaster with humbuckers. That the drummer of my band, who's a fantastic artist, Brent Housingay, he made that. He painted it all up for me.
Oh, nice.
And
He also did the kit, right?
oh yeah, he does everything. You'll see him all over the city of New Orleans. He's an amazing up-and-coming artist. I think he just did a show in Baton Rouge and beyond.
Like gallery shows and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, he does amazing stuff.
Nice, man. This is
So yeah, this is where we rock out.
all right, guys. So well, that's it. Listen, thanks a lot, dude, for showing us around.
Thank you for coming by.
It's some super, super cool stuff. I think there's enough we didn't see here. We could actually probably do a second episode in here one day.
Probably good.
Yeah, so anyways, thank you guys for joining us again. Make sure you check out Jason's band 11 Blade, especially if you're in New Orleans and you like cool punk rock music. Obviously, we love it because it's the theme to our show. Stay tuned for future episodes here. And thanks for joining us, and thanks for having us, dude. I appreciate it.
See you next
Awesome
time.
stuff. Be cool, guys.
Later, y'all.